great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, February 27, year of our Lord 2026. My Picardo's Jewelers watch tells me it's 9:06 a.m. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. I can prove it because we won the gold in men's and women's hockey. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, having lost them this year, but celebrating them because we love them. Like Eugene Cadden, Scranton, Robert Peake, Hazleton, Michael Evans, Plains, Jerry LaMonica, Scranton, and Charles Swartley, late of the Gino Murley Center. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, irreplaceable, amazing founding fathers, that government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It wasn't something that could be parceled out to groups. It wasn't something that could be controlled by government or government officials, because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter how they use it. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. Yes, we are the greatest. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show will always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense is so deep and so solid that we will provide for you, for the balance of this morning, a sanctuary of sanity in a world where the elites and an entire major political party, the Democrats, has gone insane, and they may leave you questioning, what? Well, we answer that question. They are insane, completely and thoroughly. And so, we begin the program here today, and excited to be with you guys as always. Coming in, you know these little tiny micro aggravations you have? Well, I only wear readers. I don't wear prescription glasses. And so the lens, I don't want to put it on the collar of my shirt because it bends the shirt, ruins the shirt over time. And so I put them in my pocket, and as soon as I go to put the safety belt on, crack. I knew I knocked the lens out. So now I got to go looking under the seat, and as you know, to the seats, particularly in my Wagoneer, it's not designed. Although things can get through the crack of the seat, you can't get things from beneath the crack. So I went through this extensive effort, and I'm telling you, I was so rewarded. I found the lens, I cleaned the lens, and it popped back in, and I'm wearing the same glasses. Now, I've got a spare here all the time that one of our great saleswomen gave me, and it's there just in case I forget my glasses or they break or an instance like this. But I was so, I don't know, proud would be an exaggeration, but so excited for myself that the lens popped back in, the frames aren't broken, etc. So anyway, that was my minor victory for the morning. I also I won't go into that, but last night went out with Dad and Johnny and Ellie, brother Mike, and had a nice dinner at Catch 21. My buddy Benny. Very enjoyable. Again, it's good. You know, I'll tell you what. There's something about being downtown. Among the many reasons that I love Atera 519 that we talk about constantly on this program, it's got a big city feel to it, and it's nice to be downtown. Yeah, I know, parking, whatever, but I walk down. I'm only a little over a mile away from downtown, and I walk down, and I'm walking down tonight to downtown, and just enjoy it. But in any event, it was a great evening, and I was home. The one good thing about going out with your father, is I'm home by like 7:15. And I like to eat early, and in fact have to eat early. And so I was home by 7. I walked in the house at 7:16. It was fantastic. I'm very, very happy about that. And but I'm disoriented. I think I mentioned to you, I spent the night with someone. I wasn't there for myself, but I spent the night with someone in the emergency room the other night. So I didn't sleep Wednesday night going into Thursday. And so I'm just today I took Cutie to the airport, our airport, the only place to fly from, and like 4:45. And so I'm completely disoriented. So now she's gone, which disorients you a little further, and it's just Chauncey and I. Well, my son Bobby's there with his bulldog Roscoe. But yeah, I'm just a little out of sorts would be going too far, but a little disoriented, just a little. So that's the deal. But I think the glow of a very, let's say this, an extremely Trumpian State of the Union message Tuesday night continues. Just enjoying him stuffing it to these lunatics' faces, and that's generally not my posture. I generally want him to hold back. But these people have gone so screwy, and the Democrats, they are so screwy. And you're going to hear this from me over and over again. I hope you don't get sick of it. But as they always say in radio, in advertising, in marketing, when you're throwing up because you said something so many times, they're finally hearing it on the other end. So I'm going to keep telling you, anyone wondering why the Democrat Party has gone so lunatic and thoroughly lunatic so quickly, like you can't make any sense of anything that they stand for. Oh, well, let's protect pedophiles and murderers and rapists, illegal aliens. Let's treat illegal aliens better than American citizens. Let's pay out more money for illegal aliens whom we've let in this country illegally than we will for our homeless veterans. No, all of that. And then let's let people loose. No matter what crime they commit, no matter what crime they continue to commit. Let's let them out on the streets. And let's take children who are confused with who they are and what they are, and let's permanently destroy their bodies through pharmacological and surgical means, And this is all normal. And why would you and you don't have to be an American citizen to vote, and proving so would be racist. Well, 80% of the country, and in some instances 90% on all those issues, says you're nuts. Chuck Schumer. I mean, I tell you what, you think of the reprehensible people in that party, Swalwell. I mean, the squad, AOC, Bernie Sanders, who I actually like personally, but he's just a stupid old fool. And you go through the whole Schumer. Oh, my God. Elizabeth Warren. This is holy cow. They embarrassed the bar at Star Wars. And so you say, well, why would they take, and that's how I start the show off. I want you to realize that you're normal for thinking, wow, they're wrong about everything. In fact, they're crazy. And I want you to know it's true, but I want you to know why. As with anything else, follow the money. Follow the money. And where's the money? It's the Arabella Group. It's Singham. It's Soros. And many more, by the way, sadly and frighteningly. And these people actively want to undermine the American experiment, the American way. They hate it. They despise it. They're guilty about the privilege and advantages they've gotten. And the Democrats are following their money. And then you have lunatics that are getting in the face of law enforcement officers. You've got Mondamis. Again, you just think about these people. They're mentally ill, truly mentally ill. Somebody said today's Democrat Party would think that the Star Wars cantina scene isn't diverse enough. Another, Bob, tell the truth, they're illegal, invaders, or just call them what they are. They're invaders trying to take over this country in a bloodless coup. Oh, there's subsets. The open border, there are subsets of the open border issue because it's all part of destroying the country, destroying the culture that they just jealous of, hate so much. They hate freedom. They hate freedom. By the way, they hate your freedom because you don't think like they do. The other people are just drones following the left-wing lunacy. But that I want you to remember, it's about the money. There's a reason Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. There's a reason we could play them sounding perfectly normal, even though they never were, in public speeches, in public pronouncements, and now say the exact opposite of that as though it never happened. It's why, in the response to the State of the Union, Governor Spangenberg, or whatever the hell her name is from Virginia, says that Trump caused the affordability crisis. And there is one. That's one, again, that's a blind spot of Trump, that he's always so positive and always such a cheerleader for his positions, which are the correct positions and correct policies. So I'll give him credit for that, obviously. But he's missing that some people aren't experiencing the whole package. They will. I know it's coming. Is it coming in time? But that's why somebody like Spangenberg could say, well, President Trump started the the affordability crisis and is causing an affordability. And Hakeem Jeffries, another disgusting gnat. What do they call him? Discount store Obama? And they just lie. It's the reason they could do it. They're following the money. Let me say the Democrats just want to keep the fraud going. You know, they're getting kickbacks, directly or indirectly. Look at most of the people I've just run through, their talent is limited. You know, we talk about Rob Bresnahan and Dan Muser, guys who did extremely well in business, were successful and would be successful in any realm. Then you go back to the Paige Cognettis and the Bill Gahens locally, and then take all of the clowns I just mentioned previously. They've reached the height of their abilities, which is to fool enough of the voters to put them in public office. That's all they're capable of. Because they're divorced from fact, truth, and reality, they couldn't do a real job well. It would be impossible. Follow the money. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. This was the song to one of my favorite shows of all time, Crime Story. Dennis Farina chasing the mob in Chicago and later Vegas. Love that show. Del Shannon, Murph says, this date 1961, and before that 1951, the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution, limiting a president to 2 terms in office. And I don't know that that was necessary. It's one of those things. By the way, I think it's a good thing, and many of you may disagree with me, but I think it's a good thing that Trump can't run for a 3rd term because first of all, you get old and, you can't do the job anymore. And you're just going through the motions and repeating and whatever. But it's time for a whole new generation of conservatives to come forward and take this country over for the long term. Very important that we do. We've got to stamp out this left-wing lunacy. And you Democrats who are normal, which is the vast majority of you, you've got to take your political party back. The ruin of the country is what's at stake from these scumbags. My God, you think about the people that are representing you when you say, I'm a Democrat. Yeah, they're insane. They're sick. They're evil. Some of them are a combination of all of that. Somebody takes in the real problem with the Democrat Party. The mainstream media sold out to the globalists and Roger Goodell's and promote their insane agenda and normalize their action because it's all about dark money. Well, that's why, you're agreeing with me. It's about the money. How do you think Ilhan Omar and her husband became worth 30 or 40 million bucks in a couple of years? Crazy. That's insane. How do you think Nancy Pelosi became worth between $300 and $500 million? Her father was a mob boss. She became the political equivalent. Poet Joe says there were no Romulans or Klingons at the cantina. And FYI, don't try to do what? Drink a Klingon? Is that a drink? It probably is, right? But when Poet Joe originally said it, I guess he's doing voice to text, it said ambulance. Which he had to correct. Don't try to drink a Klingon, he's saying. Good morning and greetings, Bob. AALTS. Always, always love the show. Thank you, thank you. I see where Megan Rapinoe is bashing the men's hockey team for going to the White House. She's trying real hard to become relevant, but common sense people don't care what she has to say. She's a total ass. A disgraceful, foolish ass. From Rich McHale, Bob, as you name the filth on the left, don't forget the Q-tip in a suit. Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly, you're right. He is disgusting. By the way, cabinet guy said, Bob, isn't Bob Parker great? Very informative. Definitely will be using his service. Oh, I love the guy. I went down to see Bob Parker. Bob Parker Health Markets. Get your vitamin H bar. And I did. I insist on it. I get the Hershey with almonds bar. I grab one every time I go in there. Tempted to get 2, but I said, no, I won't be greedy. Next time, maybe. But he set me up. He set me up in 5 minutes. Love Bob Parker. I'm telling you, if somebody's going on Medicare, that's the guy to see. Near the giant brown cow. Everything true as he says it. And he just sits there with you and boom, boom, plinks it out. He got right to, I did the Geisinger Gold plan. He gets them right on the phone. Got it done. No headache for me whatsoever. Bob, good morning. Bugzar says illegals. Just heard an eye-opening statistic on Britain. 1970, 95% British citizens. I'm missing it. You missed a couple words in there, Bugzar. But basically, It used to be 95% British citizens, original citizens in the country, 1970. 2021, there's only 38%. Culture's destroyed. By the way, it isn't just Great Britain. They're just the most sickening example. France, Sweden, they're all going down. Belgium, they're all going down. They've ruined their countries. And that's what these people want. That's what this lunatic billionaire class wants. And they own the Democrat Party. They've owned both parties in Europe. That's why it went on so quickly. That's why it proceeded apace. Open borders policies, all the massive welfare state to pay these people to come. Fascinating. All right. Hey, we've got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We've got a veterans tribute on the other side. And then David DeCosmo brought a story to light, and we're going to have him on. So let's go to hear from our great sponsors, and then we'll come back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you proudly by a great man by the name of John Basiliga. Well, it's the weekend, so guess what? We're going to talk about Basiliga hospitality. 3 amazing bar restaurants, all redone and gorgeous. Food, top shelf, service, the whole package. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. And 2 amazing restaurants I'll be visiting this weekend. Terra 519, downtown Scranton. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And the people are great. Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. Nightlife, we got the Scranton Art House, the best movie house in Northeast Pennsylvania. And Sergei's Live, the nightclub, believe me. Eugene Thomas Cadden. He was 93 when we lost him December 17th last year. On November 26th, he and his wife, the former Alice Kenny, had celebrated 54 years of marriage. Born and raised in the great Bellevue section of Scranton, he was son of the late Michael and Mary McDonough Cadden. He was a member of St. Patrick's Parish. A U.S. Army veteran of the Korean War, Gene attended the West Scranton High School and later the University of Scranton. Co-founder of Cadden Brothers Beer Distributors, which will be celebrating 70 years in business in 2026. Love Cadden Brothers. He also worked for RCA, General Motors, and ICS prior to being elected a district magistrate, a position he held for 24 years. And I tell you, as a lawyer, and he was a layman, one of the best, one of the most fair people you'd ever want to come in front of by yourself or as a client. Everyone knew him as Uncle Gene. His kind and generous spirit was obvious to everyone he met. As a magistrate, he judged with empathy and careful consideration of the circumstances. Amen. In addition to his beloved wife, he's survived by many dear nieces and nephews, sadly preceded in death by 6 siblings. Eugene Cadden. And on the phone, one of those great nieces, you hear her on Saturday here on WILK, and sometimes she doesn't even need a radio signal for you to hear her. It's Laurie Cadden. How are you, Laurie?
Hello, Bob. Thank you for having me on to talk about my favorite, one of my faves. Of course, I had 5 uncles and an aunt in the Cadden family, and all of them made you feel like you were the only one in the room.
Yeah.
So, but he was our longest lasting, the end of 7 at the age of 93 this past December 17th, and he was a great guy. He loved every one of us because he had no children of his own, and so the 20 grandchildren, nieces and nephews that he had, he held very dearly. My Aunt Alice is going strong and a wonderful lady, and of course Aunt Alice, which you may not know, Aunt Alice was the cousin of Judge Jim Walsh, who was a pleas judge in Lackawanna County.
Walsh. Loved him.
Yeah,
Loved him.
and so Alice was her mom died at a very young age, and my Aunt Alice was 8 years old, and so Mrs. Walsh, Judge Walsh's mom, Dorothy, raised Aunt Alice as a daughter, and so so a lot of connections.
With the great Eddie Walsh, too. Oh, my God.
Yeah, to Eddie Walsh, too. Yep. Yeah, and Eddie is Eddie and Jim, and then Alice was their cousin and raised as a sister. So Uncle Gene got married to Alice a long time ago, and he was just a wonderful guy. But you said it best. Everyone who talks to me about Uncle Gene talks about his professionalism, the fact that he was a layman. He was a wonderful source of, from sitting and people who just revered what he did in the law. He was incredible, and people loved him. He would pick up lawyers. I had Mike Barrace tell me at his funeral that Judge Barrace, that he was his first boss, and he said, I could never not be here because he was wonderful to me and to the start of my career. And I have cops and lawyers who tell me all the time what a wonderful, fair man he was, picking up lawyers, driving them back to the courthouse or back to their office. He just did everything he needed to do because he thought it was the right thing to do.
And there's very few people who become institutions. And,
right.
And Gene Cadden as a magistrate was an institution. And I was disgusted when I was away and missed that funeral. You respected him from everything you heard about him. And I didn't know he was a veteran, but it fits. It fits, and it's typical of people of that generation. But he just had, and he was a little guy, and his presence was huge.
Very big. Yes. Yep. You know, Bob, all 7 of my grandmother's children, and my grandmother raised 7 children in those days. My grandpa died at the age of 49. He owned an ice business, and my Nana raised all 7 of them. She took over as ice business for a while before they sold it, raising 6 kids from the ages of 11 to 6 months. And Uncle Gene was the second youngest of 7 children. And all of my uncles, minus my Uncle Jack, the oldest, were veterans, every single one of them. For my father, they were Navy, Army, and Air Force. All of them did their duty to the United States, except my Uncle Jack, because he had a heart murmur and they would not accept him. But other than that, every one of them did in that family. It was a big family of veterans on the Cadden side. Yes.
Laurie Cadden, WILK's own Laurie Cadden's our guest, talking about her uncle and our honoree, our veteran honoree, Eugene Thomas Cadden. Yeah, a very special man and an incredible life and legacy.
Yep.
And man, I thank you so much for calling in about this, just to talk about him. I just wanted to hear more about him. I really did.
Yeah, he was a delightful guy, and just he loved what he did as a public servant. He loved it. He lived it, and he continued to. People would call him judge for the rest of his life, and he loved every minute of it. He was quite the politician and loved. My father would always say when he went into the beer business, he'd stop to see them, and my father goes, "Here he comes. Everybody knows Eugene." And he walked in, and he was bigger than life, as you said. All of the Caddens had a tendency to be that way, but Gene was in the political realm, and he was perfectly suited for it. So thank you for honoring him. He was a phenomenal man, has great nieces and nephews who loved him dearly, and my aunt is still living a wonderful life in West Side, surrounded by as many of her family as we can.
Oh,
They're
bless
wonderful
her.
people.
God bless
Thank
her.
you. Thank you,
That's why I
Bob.
say I'm so happy that John Basile gives me the privilege to do these. And Lori,
I love this.
you've added to it. I appreciate
Well,
it.
I love it. Keep doing it, and thank you to John, and keep going. And by the way, the FAR's the best, my old stomping ground. Yes, I love it. I love it.
And I said, and I was in both iterations, and I loved Benny's.
Yes.
We used to call it Benny's. And that whole family also. And now redone, it's like, I always call it, I say, it's a reimagined neighborhood institution and tradition. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Bob, I had many a night at the FAR, the old FAR, and I looked, and again, having it spruced up and looking how it is, it's beautiful. And so thank you. And thank you to John for doing this, because I love that you talk about all of these veterans and continue to live their story. Because you know what they say, Bob, you die twice in life. Once when you leave this earth, and second when people stop mentioning your name. So keep going.
Amen.
Keep going.
Lori Cadden, thank you so much. Gene
Okay.
Cadden, our veteran, this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality Group. They make me proud every day. We'll be back. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and milder, 48. Now, yesterday, 45. See, Joe, unlike the climate alarmists, he adjusts to new facts and new information. So it's going to be 48 today. Tonight, partly cloudy, 32. Saturday, partly sunny and mild. We're looking at 50 degrees. Sunday, cloudy and colder with morning snow showers that could accumulate a dusting to an inch, 36 degrees. And that's our deal. That's the weather, brought to you by our great friends at Montage Mountain Resorts. Guys, this is probably, well, we don't know. There may be better ones. Because, for example, you got Mountain Fest the weekend of the 6th of March. That's next weekend. But this weekend, maybe one of the coolest times to ski, snowboard, and hang out at Montage Mountain. I'm telling you, it could be just absolutely great. The Marcells. Murph tells us this date, 1961. They released their hit Blue Moon. I'm a classic rock fan, but nothing can transport you to time, place, and mood like this music from the 50s and 60s, you know? Really something. David DeCosmo. Let's get the theme song. Hit the theme song. He's joining me because he has flagged, speaking of a veteran, he's flagged me with a great veteran by the name of Theodore Van Kirk from Northumberland, Pennsylvania. And he's with us now. David, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, doing just fine. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, Van Kirk was from Northumberland, which everybody in that area calls Norrie. Covered that area for Channel 22 and didn't realize what they were talking about for a while. But they're quite a guy, and I really did not know him. And I happened to see a blurb, I think it was on Facebook, and it got me looking into it a little bit more. Van Kirk enlisted in the Army Air Corps in October of 1942, and he trained as a navigator. He flew missions in a B-17 Flying Fortress out of England, and he was part of the crew that flew General Mark Clark to a secret North African meeting with the French prior to Operation Torch, which was the invasion of French North Africa. As a matter of fact, in November of 42, Van Kirk flew General Eisenhower to Gibraltar to command the North African invasion forces. But he came back to the United States after 58 missions. He was an instructor for navigators for a while, and then he began his own training in the B-29 Super Fortress. And that is the aircraft he flew in his last combat mission. That was on August 6th of 1945. He was the navigator that guided that aircraft, the Enola Gay, to its target, Hiroshima, Japan, where it dropped the first atomic bomb. Back in 1955, he was interviewed by the New York Times, and they asked him, in view of the carnage the atomic bomb did in Hiroshima, if he would do it over again. And he said, under the circumstances, those circumstances being 5 years of war and an enemy with a reputation for never surrendering, yes, he would do it again.
Well, he could take credit for being one of those who saved millions of lives. And by the way, many of those millions would have been Japanese.
Yes, absolutely. He left the military. He earned a master's degree in chemical engineering.
David, think of the enormity of it. And I've read some firsthand accounts, obviously secondhand to me, but books and literature about this. And one of the things that was so astonishing to the pilots, well, they had no idea how heavy this bomb was. And when they released it, the plane just immediately lifted thousands of feet in the air. It just went up.
Yes.
And then the blinding light that they were told was coming, it came.
Yes, well, he had trained when they did the first experimental drop, too, so he was aware of those things. But Little Boy was the name of that bomb, and it was extremely heavy. After he left the service, he earned a master's degree in chemical engineering from Bucknell University in Lewisburg. And then he worked for the DuPont Company for 35 years. He eventually settled with his family in Ohio. He died in July of 2014, Bob, not that terribly long ago. And when he died, he was the last surviving crew member of the Enola Gay. So he had certainly a place in history. And you talk about the literature of the bombing. He kept a flight log from that mission. And in 2007, that sold at auction for $358,000.
I hope he got the money. Or his family, anyway.
I believe that he did. I believe that he did. But again, he passed away in 2014, so only 7 years after he sold that. But imagine being one of the crew members, I had some neighbors back in Hazleton where I was growing up that told me that their dad was being trained, I believe, as the radio operator on what would have been a third drop, were they to get a weapon ready in time and launch it, because they only had the two.
Yeah.
The one that hit Hiroshima and the one that hit Nagasaki a few days later.
Amazing. And again, a guy went on and led a normal life after doing something and being part of something so extraordinary, iconic, and consequential. Unbelievable.
Yes, and he although I did not even know his name, I have to be honest with you, I came across it accidentally, but he was a speaker. He would go out and talk about this mission, especially to veterans groups when invited. So, in a sense, he relived it in terms of sharing the information as to how it happened, and he was the one that could tell these veterans he was speaking to, yes, the plane leaped into the air after we dropped Little Boy.
Amazing. David, thank you so much. I love when you're on. And don't forget, you and Mark Davis have to come in for some local history together, all right?
We'll have to talk to him about that. And, of course, the anniversary of the Alamo is coming up. I'll be giving you a call on that. You have a great day. Hope all your news is good.
Amen. David DeCosmo, the great David DeCosmo. We'll be back. Not a bad way to finish the hour. The Temptations, Murph says, it was the number one R&B hit this date, 1965. And we have so much to talk about. The Clintons testifying again. The Clintons lying again. and a hell of a lot more. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll be back after the news with Brian Hughes. Great good morning, everyone. 10:05 a.m. here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Friday, February 27th, year of our Lord, 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year and last, but celebrate today, thanks to John, like Gene Cadden, Bellevue section of Scranton, Charles Swartley, Gino Murley Center, Jerry LaMonica, South Scranton, Robert Peak, Hazleton, and Michael Evans of Plains. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense after that brief news adjournment. And we're excited to be here, guys. We're promising you that our commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world where an entire major political party, its entire leadership, has gone loony. And so much of the establishment and a lot of really silly people are following. So it's the old line, it's not you, it's them. I promise you. And I know we can prove it. By the way, so I get a text from my man Mark Mayer. Now you know about this. It was an attack with snowballs that had rocks in them, with ice balls, and it was beyond disrespectful. It was an assault. And Mamdani didn't stand by his cops. Oh, it was a snowball fight. Well, they arrest one of the main culprits, a career criminal, by the way. 3 weeks ago, he was arrested and released for attempted robbery in the transit system. Jasmine Coulibaly, 27-year-old criminal. He's been released by Alvin Bragg already. Remember Alvin Bragg, who invented criminal charges against Donald Trump? Do you remember Alvin Bragg, who brought on to his staff a top member of the Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department, to prosecute Donald Trump? Remember this clown, this disgrace? Yeah, that's what's going on in New York. It gets worse. It just keeps getting worse. Unbelievable. You get frustrated. You really do. Somebody texted, Bob, I don't know if this is accurate, but I heard Hillary say she never met that horror Epstein. But there are pictures of him and his partner in crime at Chelsea's wedding, which I will point out was after his initial arrest. Now, I don't know if he was there. I know Ghislaine Maxwell was there. I know Ghislaine Maxwell, on good reporting, helped out at Clinton Global Initiative events. So what a shame these people are, and I agree about Jeffries. Disgusting. That's from Mountaintop. Somebody else had no idea Northeast Pennsylvania was involved in that atomic bomb mission. We're involved in everything. This is the center of the universe. Don't get that wrong. Slick said, Bob LTS, what needs to happen is all the sane people need to move out of New York City and just let it burn to the ground. Unbelievable. I know it. Another listener, and somebody made this same point yesterday. What do you think would happen if this guy ran up with a snowball and shoved it at the back of the mayor's head? What do you think would happen? We know what would happen. And Alvin Bragg wouldn't be releasing the clown. By the way, who's out on his last crime? He's out on bail for his last crime, or no bail. These people are unbelievable. They are that sick. This is mental illness, pure and simple. Unreal. Let's go to Donald in Pittston. Donald, how are you?
Oh, great. Thanks for taking my call. You
got to wait for your theme song, Donald. Come on, man. Bulldog remembered your theme song this time, so let's enjoy it. I used to play this on the drums in prison. We had a great prison band, Donald.
A wonderful song.
Yeah.
All right, let me get to my point here. I've noticed that RFK Jr., remember, nobody really cared for him. They thought he was anti-vaccine. What we have to do, he defines it like a lawyer. I remember watching that hearing there in Congress. I didn't even know they gave the kid 76 jabs. They were pushing for a jab in the kid's arm every the pharmaceuticals like 216 every month till the kid's 18. So he defined it that way. Then people say, this guy's right. He said we can't lose weight. Everybody knows that. You could not eat for 4 or 5 days. They're feeding the cattle the hormones and the chickens the steroids and the hormones, and it makes sense that you eat that food. It's passed on to you. Just like transgender, it's an expansive Obamacare for a CHIPS program. Just want to expand that. It's not mental health. It's a falsified independent medical examination. It's backed by 74 Privacy Act information. You're using it as a tool to promote their agenda, taking the kid away from an educator, from their parents, giving them these puberty blockers and chemicals and operating on removing their testicles and their breasts of them as a child. So if you talk to people about RFK Jr., remember Caroline said he was dangerous and his nephew.
Oh, they're left-wing lunatics. They've bought into the whole Democrat insanity. Yep.
Everybody likes this guy. People could see good and evil. And that's what we have to do for the midterms. Instead of just, we know they're crazy, but we have to define it like I just did there to the people. I know he said they're crazy. Like he said, there's something wrong with these people. When they transferred the girl, they took the educator, took him. He said, your people are crazy. He's right. You hate to say it. You don't want to disparage anybody. There's no more middle ground with these people.
There's no middle ground.
There's no more center.
When you're attacking RFK, then, by the way, purely for his association with Donald Trump, who's the only one who cared to adopt the Make America Healthy Again agenda that RFK lives for. And all of these great things he's doing between cereal companies and chemical companies and our food distribution and our drug distribution, all of the amazing and by the way, necessary things that have been allowed to slide over 50, 60, 70 years. He's doing amazing work, and they're attacking. It's disgusting. It really is.
Like the cat, like I just said, they're feeding the cattle the steroids and the hormones. Yep. You're eating that. That meat, you cook it, the hormones are in it. You're eating it. That's why there's impossible. I don't know about you. You might lose a pound. You might not even eat for 4 days. Just certain things you only lose a pound. There's something going on here. We all know that. And what he's doing is wonderful, but he defined it. When I thought he was anti-vax, until I saw that hearing. 76 jabs on a child. Wow, that's crazy. I never knew that. And then they're pushing like
by the way,
like,
Donald,
you don't know where you're jabbing that kid every month.
It goes back. It goes back to what Donald. It goes back to what I was saying about why has the Democrat Party taken the 10 and 20% side of every ridiculous issue. Because of the money. Well, why did the drug companies get our government and our bureaucracy to start saying, we need all these vaccines? Follow the money. It's that simple.
Excellent.
Simple. Yep.
But that's a good point. This guy, if you talk to anybody, believe me, I talk to people. They might be wishy-washy on Trump, but they know good and they know evil. Even the liberal. Oh, that guy's good.
And Trump was the only way he gets into government and the only one
Right.
with the guts
A
to
true
stand
Kennedy,
behind
a true
him.
JFK
Yeah.
conservative, like
Well, and the only one with the
Bulldog.
guts
That
to
proves it
stand
right there.
behind a guy.
Fitness and everything.
The only one with the guts to stand behind a guy who's going after the establishment. Donald, thank you, as always, my man. Yeah, the only one that would have the coyotes to do this is Donald Trump and say, you know what, RFK, you go after everything that's wrong in our food supply. You go out after everything that's wrong in our pharmaceutical supply system. Go after it. Fear or favor. Go after it. Quite amazing. Somebody texted, Paul from Larksville texted, he said, you should do a show about the Native American history in the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area. People will be absolutely amazed at the history we have around here. Well, Paul, you're going to have to lead me into this. You'll have to lead me into this. I actually know that it is, but I don't know much about it. I know we have a rich history of Native Americans. Fascinating. Somebody said allegedly Maxwell was one of the people who set up the Clinton Foundation. That's what I've been reading. And not, I don't read any of the right-wing. By the way, once a right-wing outlet exaggerates something or leads me down the wrong path, I'm done with them. And I've read it from reliable sources. Hillary lies as easily as you and I breathe. Just be aware of that. Bill does it, but you know he's lying. There's something, he's a rascal. I only met him once. I met Hillary twice. I didn't like her. There's an edge to this woman. She's seething underneath. She really is. She thinks that she made Bill president and she was entitled to the same path. And all the public embarrassment, by the way, that part I understand. All the public embarrassment that she suffered at Bill's hands with his antics made her even more resentful. But she's a vicious person. Make no mistake about it. And she's a liar. Make no mistake about that. Hey, let's take a break. Let's hear from our great sponsors. A little history, a little music, and then you at 5. Tony T texted in Killary. Pretty funny. All right, we'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Murph says this date, 1971, moved into the top 10 charts at number 9 with Mr. Bojangles. Sammy Davis Jr. did that song, didn't he, too? And so I'm listening to I guess, probably a radio broadcast of the U.S. Olympic hockey team defeating the Soviets. And I'm talking to the Bulldog. I go, Bulldog, why didn't you do the Al Michaels one? He goes, we did that the other day. I said, well, how come we're repeating it? He goes, you didn't look, dummy. This is 1960. Oh, he's so proud of himself that I messed that up. But that was the 1960 U.S. Olympic hockey team defeating the Soviets 3-2. Also in the United States at the Winter Games in Squaw Valley, California. They went on to win the gold medal and had not beaten the Soviets, which was, remember, the Soviets were the machine. 60, and then you go to 80, and we had college kids playing against men. Unbelievable and great. That's fun. That is just pure fun. One of the trolls, why is Melania not called to testify in the Epstein case? She's mentioned more than Hillary and photographed with Epstein Maxwell. Because she wasn't involved with him after he was convicted. Ghislaine Maxwell was not involved in any foundation or business that she had. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were not seen in a hot tub with young girls, either on a plane or in the hot tub. You stupid ninny. You get sick of these liars. You really do. Bob, they need to interview men in the Epstein files that were named by victims. They all have. See, the funny thing, you either have trolls and Democrat asses and flunkies that are lying, or you have people that want to go way beyond the skis of what can be proven. And so I don't know where to go with this. I'm sick of talking about it. It merits congressional investigation, but don't think something amazing is going to come out of it. Throw it all out there. If somebody's named, let them defend themselves. I wouldn't normally want to do it that way, but this has gotten a life of its own because of the Democrats who lied about Trump. So then he said, I got to release it all. You got to remember, the left-wing goofballs, the Jamie Raskins of the world, they're so irresponsible. They're scum. They're literal scum. Lies don't matter to them. Fact, truth, and reality are distant memories in their lives. And we're letting them drive the process. It's crazy stuff. Hey, let's go to Chris from Jessup. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
What's happening?
I just calling to see you think Donald J. Trump's going to get asked to come up to the stand there for the deposition?
Well, the Democrats are going to try to make that happen, but his communication and dealings and friendship, if you want to call it that, which I think you could, his association ended long before this guy got convicted of everything, and there's abject proof of two things. Number one, that Trump helped them with the prosecution, and the second thing there's proof of, Epstein was plotting on how to screw Trump anytime he got a chance. So
What do you think? What about the allegations against Trump? They're pretty serious and they're pretty numerous.
they're invented.
I think that counts, though. I think, though, doesn't it?
They're invented. They're lies. What do you want to do? I mean, how many
who
lies do you want to
told you that?
chase? How many Democrat
who told
lies do
you
you
that?
want to chase?
Who told you that?
The facts prove it.
But the allegations
Nobody had
are
to tell me. You could prove it. His association, Chris, his association with this guy ended before he was convicted of his first crime, and they ended, period.
So the allegations are all lies?
Yes.
Okay. And Hillary was there with zero
I don't think Hillary had any direct involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Bill clearly did.
Okay.
But Ghislaine Maxwell.
So I guess Trump would have no problem coming under oath and saying that. He should do it.
Well, you don't call somebody in to testify when there's nothing there. What do we do? All right, then Chris, I'll call you in to testify. We'll see what you know about it. When we already know you have nothing to do with it. Let's call you in. Why don't we call? Here's what I'm going to do. Chris, tell me about all your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Let me do that. Let me waste the president of the United States' time on a lie. Let's do that.
The Trump tightness check. Unbelievable. He should be there under oath.
For what? What allegation? What involvement?
What allegation?
Yes.
Read a book, kid. Don't make me do your
job.
Tell
me the allegation. No, you sound like a stupid raving idiot. Tell me the allegation.
What about the tightness check when he's fingering the 13-year-olds for how tight they are?
Who made that allegation? Some Democrat scumbag liar.
Didn't the FBI probe that, investigate that, and I got shut down 4 times?
No. Oh, yeah. All of this got shut down when Barack Obama was president and when Joe Biden was president. Please, you're not even on the plane of reality. You've got Trump derangement syndrome, and I've had enough of you. But call again. Call again. We'll deal with you again. I'm not worried about that. But call again, Chris. We could listen to your stupidity, but only for brief periods of time. We're going to take a break. We've got great sponsors, the Veterans Tribute, the weather, and then we got Bruce from German. They're going to raise the Welsh flag. We're going to talk about that. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. It includes fine dining, the likes of which you will see nowhere else in Northeast Pennsylvania, but you will never top it. A Terra 519, can't wait to get there this weekend. Downtown Scranton, one of the most gorgeous restaurants you'll ever see. It just is. And it's that good. The service, the people, the whole package. Stegmeyer Mansion. You will feel like you want to wear a tux and tails. It is just that great. Fine dining at Stegmeyer Mansion and a Terra 519. Nothing better. Charles Morris Swartley. He was 94 and a resident at the Geno Murley Center when he passed away February 11th. Born in Philadelphia, he served in the United States Navy during the Korean War aboard the USS Waldron. He devoted his work to the family business, the Check Protector Company, which he operated alongside his father and brother. Earlier in his career, he was employed by B.F. Goodrich Tire and Rubber. He enjoyed music and film throughout his life, maintaining an extensive collection spanning reel-to-reel tapes, records, CDs, with a special appreciation for classic vocalists like Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole. He also loved classic cinema and British dramas. Survived by his son Jay, his daughter Lisa, and 3 grandchildren. Arrangements were made by the Soffinelli Fiorello Funeral Home. Charles Swartley. Jerome Jerry LaMonica. We lost him February 4th at age 87. He was from South Scranton. Late of Mill City. He passed away at home following an illness. He was preceded in death by his beloved wife of 66 years, Jean Kolodziejski LaMonica. Born in Scranton, graduate of the great Scranton Technical High School, he then proudly served in the U.S. Navy for 5 years prior to his honorable discharge. His service memories of flying glass-bottom planes, diving, and snorkeling remained close to him. He worked for McKinney Corporation for over 20 years before branching off and beginning his own business, Jerry's Contracting, which he owned and operated until his retirement. A true outdoorsman, Jerry loved his hunting, fishing, camping, boating. His happy place, though, was his home where he took great pride in his garden. He survived by 3 children, 13 grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren, and other family members. Jerry LaMonica. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker, brought to you by the amazing gang and your place for weekend fun, Montage Mountain Resorts. The weather's going to be perfect. To ski, to snowboard, to hang out in the lodge and watch the skiers, which is my best thing. And then the other thing I love, the tents with the fire pits. Stand outside and have a cigar. It'll be beautiful out this weekend. Sunny and milder today, high 48. We're at 38 now. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 32. Saturday, partly sunny and mild, high 50. Sunday, cloudy and colder with morning snow showers that could accumulate a dusting to an inch, 36 degrees. And that's your weather report brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resorts, the place for winter fun. Always liked that song. I did not know it was Jefferson Starship. Murph tells me that it was, and this date, 1978, they released that hit. Count on me. Bob Cordaro back on the program. A couple more of these Epstein things. So Howard Lutnick, this is one from one of the trolls. So, and by the way, the trolls are liars. They will grasp at any straw because they've got such sickness with Trump derangement syndrome that there's no credibility there. But let's talk about this. So Howard Lutnick was seen on Epstein Island after he was convicted. So should he have to testify according to your logic? Why not? I don't care. And by the way, he already has testified to that event. He already has. How the hell do you think you heard about it, dummy? Somebody texts in, my question is, why wasn't the pedos investigated and prosecuted 18 years ago when all this happened? I'm not sure who you're referring to. He got a slap on the wrist from a joint state and federal prosecution in Florida. By the way, extremely well documented in a James Patterson book. James Patterson is one of the people, in addition to Trump, who drove, one of the Palm Beach people, who really drove the police and said, get this guy, he's bad. Read James Patterson's book on this. It really, it'll turn your stomach, but then you'll actually have a base of knowledge that's not political. Somebody says, Bob, your argument that no one has prosecuted the predators doesn't hold water. The dam is about to break. I don't care. I'm done with it. But I'm done with it. That's all. I don't really. The girls have gotten compensation. The guy's dead. He killed himself. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that he was murdered. But he killed himself. And so we're done. By the way, I don't care who's exposed. I don't care what they. Let the facts fall where they may and let people defend themselves. That's not the way our justice system should work. But politics and the Democrats have driven this. They've driven us to this part. And they've lied about Trump's involvement with him, with Epstein so badly, trying to create a fog. I'll tell you, it's disgusting, actually. I mean, you want to get Jamie Dimon? His bank did hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business with Epstein. What do you want to do with, how far does it go? If they either didn't know about it or weren't involved in his crimes, I don't want Hillary prosecuted. I don't want Bill prosecuted for that matter, unless he partook of underage girls. That's another story. If that comes out, well, then sorry. One of the TDS gang. Why are they removing and hiding files with Trump's name on them? Stop! Stop it! Stop the lie! Stop the lie! Stop! You're sick! You've got a problem! You have a problem! You've got to stop! Wake up! God almighty! It's sad. It's scary. Morning, Bob. I've always enjoyed reading James Patterson's books. I have probably like 30 of them. Yeah, I don't know the name of it. I read it, and I think I have it. It is the definitive book on Jeffrey Epstein and his shenanigans in my book. I've read others about this, but I think James Patterson's was the best, and it had no political bias. He was just out to get a bad guy. Hey, let's go to my man Bruce Smallcomb up in German. Bruce, how are you, my friend?
Wonderful, Robert. How's everything down there with you?
Everything's great.
You're in a rage again, and then I don't. We could sit here for.
Well, you just once in a while. By the way, most of the time, the TDS crowd gives me an opportunity to set the record straight. But sometimes they're just so stupid, and I feel sorry for them. But they've got to be slapped. It's just idiotic. And they don't stop, by the way. They don't stop because of their illness. It's crazy.
Well, the Democrats had all this, and they never let anything go. I mean,
That's
they've never released anything, and now we're releasing everything, and now they're complaining because we're releasing everything, but not everything, you know?
Well, Bruce, the fact that Obama and the Democrats that controlled the Justice Department under Biden didn't release this. I mean, they were trying to put him in jail for life. Oh, Joe Biden was. And they didn't touch on Jeffrey Epstein? What are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're nuts. These are nutty people. I feel sorry for them. I love them. But it's like you know, you've got to just love them, but they're capable of very little that makes sense.
I can feel your blood pressure going up from here.
No, I'm the one that creates blood pressure. I don't get it. I create it. Well, what do you got? We got the Welsh flag, Bruce.
Yeah, I'm sitting up here in the old Welsh church, which is our museum. And I just came from the raising of the Welsh flag down in the courthouse in Scranton.
Nice.
Which we do every year. And it only lasts for a week, and then the Irish flag goes up for the rest of the month. But that's neither here nor there. Mine will stay up here in German for the whole month.
Do they still have the St. David's dinner?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night at Colonnade in Scranton, which is it doesn't seat as many people, but it's a nice venue.
No, that's a great venue. And you know what it is? You got to switch them up. I used to go when it was at St. Mary's Center. And you know the thing I loved about it? I hope they still sing.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And we lost our friend Warren Watkins, but man, he was
everybody's mentor. He was so good at what he did and got everything going, and he knew everything about Wales.
Yeah.
And now we have Beth Landlerson from down in Wilkes-Barre, she comes up and sings, and she was the president before I was the president, and now Wayne Evans is the president now.
Oh, great! Our mayor, the other mayor,
former mayor,
the other mayor.
The other mayor.
You're the original.
I am the mayor.
You're the original mayor.
I am the mayor. That's what Jamie Moreno gave me that name. He said, "You are the mayor."
Coming from Mayor Jamie. Nice. Also, the flag is up on Courthouse. I'll be downtown tonight. I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna salute.
Yeah, well, they lost the original flag that we had, so we had to bring one. So Wayne Evans bought one and had it shipped in. So it's a small little flag, but the county lost the Welsh flag that we always raised, so we had to get a new one. So I have one up here in German. I just raised it myself. I have my Welsh rubbing stone on my desk and my flag, and I have a Welsh cookie from Wayne Evans' wife I'm getting ready to eat, and we're going to enjoy Wales for the month up in German.
I love it. I love it. The great Welsh people taught us how to mine and
they were big in railroads and mining.
Yeah, the foundation of this of northeastern Pennsylvania, the great Welsh people. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, that's how this industrial revolution started. If it wasn't for the coal and the steel and the railroads and the gravity railroad and everything up here, this country wouldn't be what it is.
Amen. Amen. Bruce Smallcomb, thank you, my friend. Thanks for pointing out it's St. David's time. It's time to honor the Welsh.
Yeah, and we're always looking for some people to volunteer at the museum. So if there's any young people in college or high school that want to do any internship up here at the building, I'm always looking for help.
All right, my man. The great historic Museum of History up in German. You will love it. You will love the place.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Have fun, Bruce. Enjoy. Tomorrow night, the Welsh dinner. It's a great thing to go to. It's a great thing to go to. Hey, we're going to take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Murph tells us this date, 1982. Journey moved up to number 2 with their hit Open Arms. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program as we run up to the top of the hour. Somebody texts in, Bob, the good thing about the Maha Health Secretary, JFK Jr., well, RFK Jr., actually, President Biden would boast about his DEI hire, transgender incompetent health secretary Rachel Levine, as the greatest thing since vanilla ice cream. Now the American people can judge for themselves how insane and out of touch his entire administration was. RFK Jr. truly represents the values of America. Rachel Levine, a total DEI idiot, fraud, and shame on the non-veteran, anti-American Joe Biden fool. Thank you. You said it better than I ever did. Oh, Lord. It's crazy stuff. I'm telling you, these TDS people, these still with this Epstein thing, and they'll just continue. Trump's name was mentioned over and over again because Epstein was obsessed with him. Because he aided in his prosecution and in exposing the scumbag. That's why he's mentioned so often in hatred. Now let's look to the other side. And I like Bill Clinton. He wasn't a very good president, but he was lucky. Better to be lucky and good in a lot of instances. Demographics drove the country at that time. But anyway, Bill Clinton on his plane 27 times. On the island, pedophile island, 4 times that are proven. Pictures have emerged of him in hot tubs. Pictures have emerged with him with some of the victims. Every right to talk to him about it. Hillary, she probably needed to be involved too, not only as Bill's husband, but the fact that she had deep association with Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm not out to get the Clintons. They're irrelevant. They got away with all their shenanigans. And it was bad, especially with the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation. It was horrible what they did. It was corrupt what they did. But I'm not out to get the Clintons or get anybody else prosecuted. I really don't care, but you know, when people who are really actually ill when it comes to Donald Trump, what do you say to them? How many times do you say to them, you're reading and listening to lies and you're regurgitating them? They cannot stop. They can't stop. They're sick. It's a sickness. It's a true sickness. And I just don't know what to tell you. And so if you say, well, yeah, that's like the TDSers out there. You guys have a problem. And by the way, what I want you to do is attack any policy that he's had. And then we'll have a normal discussion. Your Trump derangement syndrome does not interest me. That's your problem. I'll discuss any policy, but not the nonsense. Not your nonsense. Just can't do it. We don't have time in a day. Look at my Picardo Jewelers watch. I'm already 2 minutes over trying to get you people to be normal. And I can't, I guess. Let's talk policy. If you have Trump derangement syndrome, let's talk policy. Because you're too ill to talk about Trump. Let's work it that way. It's news time. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll be back after that. Great good morning, everyone. 11:07 a.m. here in the great Northeast this beautiful Friday, February 27, year of our Lord 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga hospitality, to honor the brave who've made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year and last, but celebrate today thanks to John. Like Eugene Cadden, Judge Cadden. He was from Scranton. Jerry LaMonica, South Scranton. Charles Swartley, late of the Geno Murley Center. Robert Peake, Hazelton and Hazel Township. And Michael Evans, Plains and Mountaintop. So with history, our great founding fathers and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense after that brief news adjournment. And our great Mary Regina reminding me I didn't get to Mother Teresa yet. Thank you, Mary. And here she is for February 27th. She says, "It is not the magnitude of our actions, but the amount of love that is put into them that matters." The great Mother Teresa, Saint Teresa for today. Always a big part of the day. Yeah, the Howard Lutnick thing, he's going to have to answer for it. Now, his claim, I saw the testimony, was that he had some business deal or thing with Epstein, and that he had lunch with him on the island while sailing with his family, and that his family went on the island with him. Obviously, his implication being I didn't take part in any of the pedophilia or the child rape and whatever the hell else went on in that place. He's got to answer for it. So what? But the Trump stuff is all pumped up lies. I just don't understand it. And to reiterate something that I said earlier, one of the listeners texts in, on a strictly common sense level. But by the way, they don't have common sense. They've got Trump derangement syndrome. They don't have common sense. They've lost it. By the way, if they're voting Democrat, you don't have common sense. If you're supporting Democrats and today's Democrat Party, you don't have common sense, period. But anyway, the listener goes, on a strictly common sense level, do any of these people with TDS honestly believe that the Obama Justice Department or the Biden Justice Department in the run-up to the 2024 election wouldn't have exposed Trump's deal? The listener continues. They arrested him in New York, Atlanta, and tried to bankrupt him. Like, what? What's the matter with you people? Seriously. You should be ashamed of yourself for losing control of your minds. Seriously. So some people on issues. How did Doge work out? I think incredibly well. By the way, who hated Doge? Who ended Doge? The Democrat Party. Hated. You know why? Because $1 trillion a year is spent on their friends and fellow travelers of your tax money, and you don't give a spit. Doge exposed the whole scam. Do you care that $93 billion went out the door at the Energy Department to nonprofits and NGOs after Kamala lost the election and before Trump got sworn in? Do you care about that? It's just a fool. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I don't understand it. So yeah, okay, so you hate Donald Trump. Fine, I get it. That could happen. By the way, Bulldog, just pass it along to Bill. They're saying that our FM keeps cutting out for some reason. Would you point that out to him? Thank you. That's our engineer, Bill France. He'll look into it for you and me. Trade policy? You mean trade war? Trump had to pay billions of our farmers for China boycotting our soybeans due to his genius tariffs. All right, Mr. Stupid. Mr. Stupid. We had unfair trade deals with almost the entire world. The only weapon we had was tariffs. And the unfair trade deals we've had for the last 50, 60 years have destroyed and eroded our middle and working class. In other words, the heart of the country. And Trump's the first one to actually do anything about it. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And by the way, inflation has gone down under Trump, so that lie about the tariffs is another one that you're trying to spit up. Yeah, if it has to be a trade war, let it be a trade war. You want to keep trading with countries unfair to us and our workers? You can't be that stupid. You can't be. Nobody could be. Nobody can be that stupid. Seriously. Trump has done the most amazing things on trade that we've ever seen. It's incredible. So he said, Bob, you must get into a lot of bar fights calling people names all the time. No. People aren't this stupid to me in person. They're not as stupid as you in person. And by the way, I don't talk politics. What do you think I run around to? I get 15 hours a week of this stuff. That's plenty. Crazy. Absolutely crazy people. What are you talking? Biden brought what from 9% to 4%? Like I'm saying, these people don't even know what the hell they're talking. It's just gibberish. And they'll keep doing it. Let's go quickly to Jim from the PA Turnpike. How are you, Jim?
Good. I would like to rely on your memory. Some time ago, I believe you stated you would have been able to put together a business proposition to purchase the Scranton Times. Am I correct?
Yes, I did. But not the Scranton. Well, the Scranton Times we tried, the family wasn't interested. The Scranton Tribune is the one I actually put a plan together for. But okay, if you remember that one.
So, I remember you saying. I thought you said George Laddett wouldn't speak to you.
No, I spoke to a couple of family members, and they were already on track with the gang they're dealing with, apparently.
Well, I subsequently read in the Scranton Times that Epstein wanted to buy one of their properties.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is there any place in the Epstein files which have been released now that Patrick McKenna and George Lainert were down on the island for negotiations?
I don't think so. No, I don't think we have any. I'll tell you what, it's a funny thing, Jim. We have Northeast Pennsylvania has a connection with literally everything that happens in the world, but I don't think we have a connection with Jeffrey Epstein. I could be wrong.
Okay, I wanted to ease your blood pressure, but
that's funny. That's very funny. It is funny.
I'd like to bring up one thing about the Shapiro campaign that needs to be clarified. Fast Eddie Rendell set the stage for one of these issues. Fast Eddie and Estelle Richmond were hell-bent on closing the mental hospitals, which they succeeded in.
Including Whitehaven, yeah.
Including several of their followers. And they've also made it difficult for people to receive mental health services, and insurance companies do not want to pay for the service. So now we hear that the governor's mansion was firebombed because of his national origin, religion, way of life, culture. But I think we need to look into that further. The person who did the firebombing was mentally ill for many years. His family had sought care for him. They were not able to obtain it. He would have firebombed that place if you were in there, or me.
That's possible. I've read those reports. Yep.
Further, he's so sick that they took him from Montgomery County up to Waymart, to what used to be known as the Farview Hospital for the criminally insane. And they kept him there for a prolonged period of time until they could shine him up for his arraignment. So I maintain if he had received the proper care in the beginning, none of this would be taking place. And the issue should be presented for what it is: lack of care for those who need it, and not as a political attack on someone's religion. So that's all I have to say for today. Drive safely.
I'm with you on it. The other aspect of this is Shapiro should answer for the incredible security breakdown that allowed this sicko to do that. And nobody's been called to account. Nobody.
I'd love to tell you about that, but maybe you should ask Captain Cheeseburger, who's now retired.
All right. Jim, always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend. Hey, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We got the phone lines they're not quite full, but there's a lot of calls I got to get to. We'll be back. I don't know. There's a song I don't even like. But Murph has it, so we do it, baby. This date, 1988, Paul Carrick, never heard of him, moved into the top 10 charts at number 9 with Don't Shed a Tear. Bob Cordaro back with you, and of course, George Bush before that. I used to love how he called him Saddam. He called him Saddam. But announcing this date in 1991, Kuwait is liberated, Iraq's army is defeated. And he did the right thing by stopping. He really did. It was going to be a slaughter. And but then he raised taxes. Dummy. And you gave us the Clintons. He could have won even with Ross Perot running. But it's what it is. What are you going to do? Hey, let's go to Dave from Wilkes-Barre. He says he's calling on the big, beautiful bill. I call it the big, mediocre bill. But how are you, Dave?
Oh, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good.
It's a beautiful day on a Friday.
Amen.
I'm a Democrat. I believe in organized labor, and I love it. But the Democrats in today's world are totally sick.
I believe in organized labor except for government employees.
I think that the Democratic Party today is sick, very, very sick.
Yeah.
The Democrats, they say, if you like organized labor, vote for us. I'll tell you, Donald Trump did good for the auto workers, the steel workers, all these factories going up. A lot of it's being built by unions, and I support that. There's one thing that I don't like about the Republican Party with the big, beautiful bill is the tax-free on Social Security. That's a false statement. From what I understand, for example, if you make $20,000 a year on Social Security, you only pay half of your taxes. With the new big, beautiful bill, just an example, they increased it to, let's say, another $6,000. So if you're making $26,000, you're only paying approximately half on your Social Security. First of all, I don't think anybody should pay any taxes on Social Security because you worked all your life.
Yep.
And the Republicans are out there saying tax-free on Social Security.
They're exaggerating when they say that.
That's a false statement.
But let me explain it though, Dave.
Yeah.
Number one, they had zero Democrat support, it blows me away that they would oppose no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and on no tax on Social Security. So the Republicans had to do it through what's called reconciliation because they only had 51 votes. And because they had to do it through reconciliation, they couldn't eliminate the tax on Social Security the way they intended. And because of rules under reconciliation. So they couldn't do it. I don't know why Trump still says it. Well, he says it because he loves to exaggerate. But it was a big help to a lot of Social Security recipients to have that $6,000 tax credit. But it was it's all they could do under reconciliation and the rules of reconciliation because they got zero Democrat support.
Right. I agree with you, but it's a little bit misleading. But,
yes, it is. It is. It's an exaggeration. It's not true.
But I'm not going to hold up your time. I just want to say I'm a Democrat. I believe in organized labor. But I will say on the State of the Union address that one Democratic girl from Minnesota with the towel wrapped around her head, I don't even know if she is from America. But, I mean, the Democrats are just sick. And that girl there, she has TDS big time. And she looks like a child out there.
And she's a criminal. That's my view.
She is.
Yep.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
But, all right, I like to say thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Dave.
All right,
Appreciate
you got it. Bye-bye.
I appreciate your time. All right, let's go to Ray from Mountaintop. Ray, how are you, brother?
Oh, Robert, I'm wonderful. We need the club for common sense.
Yes, we do.
Here's a quick suggestion. This happened in a conversation with one of my grandchildren. She was talking about her paycheck, and she was lamenting all she made. And I said, wait a minute, honey. That's not what you made. The top third is what was stolen from you. Now, here's the way we resolve the problem. We make withholding illegal. Step one. Step two, we continue to have April 15th be the day by which you must file your taxes. But step three is on the 16th, you write the check. And on the 17th of April, Election Day. Do you think the results would be different, Robert?
You've just solved half the country's problems.
Well, I'll tell you what. There would be no more money for scumbag Somalis to steal from us by the billions with our asinine welfare programs that don't help anybody, that enslave its recipients, and that is a disgusting thing. Buying votes.
Yep.
That's all it is.
By both parties, by the way. That's how these things got out of hand. There's nobody,
absolutely,
nobody at least not enough people holding them back.
Robert,
you've just solved.
Simple.
I love it. I love it.
Eliminate withholding. File your tax. Now write the check. Okay, let's vote. You think the results would be a little different?
Yeah. We'd be having, there'd be a whole different set of pandering, wouldn't there?
Robert, when I mention this to you, I'm as serious as a heart attack.
I like it.
Because the bottom line is simple. I know what causes global warming. It's the sun. You get your medical insurance from your employer. It used to be that way. The employer gets to deduct the expense. You get to participate in the design of the medical insurance plan. And if you don't like it, this is America. Vote with your feet. Work somewhere else. Get the government involved. Total failure. We were a national disgrace, according to Obama or whatever the guy's name was, because 20 million people didn't have insurance. 15 years later, ruined the medical system. Now we have 50 million people without insurance.
I know. People are just starting, because I've been talking about this a lot since I've been on the air, but also particularly during the shutdown, because the Democrats were trying to cover up the failure of Obamacare with these subsidies continuing. That was number one. But Obamacare has destroyed the health insurance markets in this country, and that's why we're paying what we're paying. And some people are starting to get it that didn't understand it before.
That would be Democrats, correct? The ones who didn't understand it before?
Yeah, well, people that don't want to. Yeah.
Precisely, Robert.
Yeah.
Robert, don't give up the fight.
Never.
Hang in there.
Never.
No matter what, because it hangs in the balance. And just think about this for 1 second, then we got to go. Persuading 5 or 10 people may affect the outcome of a congressional election.
Oh, yeah.
That could affect. You want to talk about?
They stopped him from his health care grab, which would have done severe damage to the country. It was actually Hillary's health care grab. And so many other initiatives he would have done, forced him to do welfare reform. And the country had a successful time when he was president. As I always ask people, well, what did he do that was good that wasn't done with the help of the Republicans? And nobody can answer. But I liked him, He was a rascal.
He was a nice enough guy.
He was a rascal.
Robert, you have a wonderful weekend. Keep up the good work. Oh, it's a pleasure to listen.
883-0098. Our Veterans Tribute this hour. And guess what? Every hour. This day and every day. Brought to you by a true patriot, John Basiliga. Today featuring just one of his great companies, the Basiliga Hospitality Group. And it's Friday, baby, so I'll be hitting a lot of these spots this weekend. Cutie's out of town, so the cat's away, so the mice will play. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township, the Far Street Tavern. The Reimagined Neighborhood Institution, the Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. I'm telling you, you will love them all. I promise you. Fine dining, yeah, we got that. The Terra 519, the class of restaurants anywhere. The Stegmeyer Mansion, an old world take, but the same level of service, food, and fun. Downtown Wilkes-Barre. Sergei's, the nightclub. Yeah, I sneak down there once in a while. Went to see my friend Chris DiMatteo down there. Love it. It's fun. Tonight and tomorrow night, it'll be hopping galore. And the Scranton Art House, you want to check out a movie this weekend? No place better. Robert Peake. He was 85 when we lost him February 21st. He grew up in Hazleton. He attended Hazel Township High School, where he met his bride of 63 years, Dorothy. After graduation, he enlisted in the United States Army, serving from 58 to 60. He attended basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey, before going overseas to serve all of us in Germany. During his time there, he was a corporal in the 38th Artillery Missile Battalion. He received accolades of all kinds at various levels. After his service, Robert returned to Luzerne County, where he and his wife Dorothy started their life together. He worked for the former Spalding's Bakery and then Stroman's Bakery. Robert spent many years in service to God, working at the former Church of Sacred Heart of Jesus in Harley. He was a member of the Men of the Sacred Heart. He continued his work for the church in his retirement at St. John Bosco Church in Cunningham. He was strong-willed at times, but he had a big heart and a special talent for filling a room with laughter at his jokes and antics. Beloved husband, father, grandfather, and friend. He survived and missed by his loving wife, the former Dorothy Matuella, 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and a great-grandchild, Cecilia. Robert Peake. Michael Evans. He died February 17th. His family says he was a man of profound faith, unwavering patriotism, and an endless well of love for his family. Born and raised in Plains, he carried the hard-working spirit of the Wyoming Valley with him throughout his life. As an adult, he settled in the mountaintop, built a home, raised a family, and became a fixture in the community. The great chapter of Michael's life began November 8th, 1980, when he married the love of his life, Karen. To Michael, Karen was his North Star. 45 years of marriage. A proud veteran of the United States Marine Corps, Michael carried the value of the Corps with him every day. He lived with a country-first mentality. He was a devout Catholic, parishioner at St. Jude Parish in Mountaintop. His relationship with Jesus Christ was a cornerstone to him, guiding his hands in fatherhood and life. An avid hunter and woodsman, he felt most at home in the Pennsylvania woods. His legacy of strength and love lives on through his beloved wife, Karen, his son and daughter-in-law, his daughter and son-in-law, 2 brothers, 3 cherished grandchildren, and other family members. Michael Evans. Our great veterans this hour, lovingly brought to you by John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Get there this weekend. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and milder, high 48. These are perfect days to go up to Montage. Ski or snowboard. Rent a tent with a fire pit over the weekend. I think I'm going to do some hanging out there with Cutie gone. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 32. Saturday, partly sunny and mild, high 50. Sunday, cloudy and colder with morning snow showers that could accumulate a dusting to an inch, high 36 on Sunday. And all of this weather, this great weather report, brought to you by Montage Mountain Resort. It's our place. You'll love it. I think you guys are getting used to it. When we hear that song, we start thinking Florida. We start thinking Tina Morocco, global sales advisor at Sotheby's in Naples, Florida. She's your gateway to all of Florida, and she's your maven for Southwest Florida. Tina, how are you today?
Well, to be honest, I'm a little cold.
You're in Scranton. You're in your other house. Well, the fact that you come up here says you're the right person to and spend some time here every year and you hang out here means that you're the person to go see for Southwest Florida.
Definitely. I know both worlds.
Yeah. So what's on your mind today?
So I was thinking about it, and I think let's talk about some of the interesting parts about buying in, Southwest Florida that people might not know. And one of the things people don't realize is a lot of our properties are sold turnkey furnished. And I don't know if it is, but that means like everything down to the silverware. And the reason for that is, when people move, they don't necessarily want to take all their furniture with them back up north or wherever they're going to their next place, which makes it so easy for people that are purchasing in Florida. It's ready to go. You can eventually replace everything, but, you can move right in. And, your furniture's there, your silverware's there, everything's decorated. So
that reduces a big burden or something really that you would worry about, like, well, okay, what are we going to do here? Yeah.
It's a big expense to buy furniture, and it's a hassle because once you move to Southwest Florida, you might not even know where to go to purchase the furniture. So it makes it easy, very easy.
Neat.
Here.
That's an important point. So you could find a place that is completely move-in ready as soon as you take control.
Yeah. Turn the key and you're ready to start the Florida lifestyle.
Wow. As Johnny Carson used to say, I did not know that.
And the other thing is I have a couple closings coming up, and in Florida we do more closings remotely than we do in person. So a lot of people are like, oh, I got to come down, I got to pick out my property, and I got to come back for closing. Well, that's not true. Here in Florida, it's we know how to do it remotely.
Yeah.
So it's so easy just to have a mobile notary or even DocuSign everything online, and you're ready to go.
Well, and that's a big deal because the cost of the trip and the trying to plan the closing, and you avoid all that. You just get it done.
Yeah, get it done.
Hey,
and
So Tina, I know it's Cutie's down there. And so
really?
she may not have arrived yet, but I think she might have. She's in Naples, and it's going to be in the 80s today, isn't it?
Yeah. She's going to be paying.
Oh, Lord. Well,
it's a rough life.
Yeah. Well, we're happy you're here visiting with us. I look forward to seeing you. And then, hey, we'll have to do it in Naples. That's okay by me.
I'll show you around.
I love it. Well, thank you. Tina Morocco, she is the gateway to Southwest Florida. And in fact, all of Florida. We appreciate you checking in and letting us know that it's a little easier than you might have thought to get a place in Florida. Love it.
It's almost too easy.
Well, for me, I got to get the money first. Then I'll call you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tina.
Well, thank you. Take care, Bob.
Tina Morocco, Sotheby's, Naples, Florida, your gateway to Florida real estate. You will love dealing with her. We'll take a break and be back. Biden banner disgrace, day 74. The Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, and if you know anybody that's a member, tell them to take it down. Stolen valor with Joe Biden as a veteran in a hometown hero banner designed and planned only for veterans. And he clearly was not. Members of the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, if you're Democrats, so be it. If you're not embarrassed by this jackass, so be it. That's your own problem. But take that hometown hero banner down. Honor him any way you choose. Not with a hometown hero banner. Biden banner disgrace. Day 74. Is that Wilson Phillips, Bulldog? All right. 1990, this date, Wilson Phillips released their hit, Hold On. That's a nice song. I don't know if I ever heard of it before. Maybe I did. Bob Cordaro back on WILK and the eponymous program. We're going to finish with Black Sabbath. This day, 2016, they performed at Madison Square Garden for the End of the End tour, featuring founding members Ozzy Osbourne, lead vocals, Tony Lamy, guitarist, Geezer Butler, not Booker Butler, Geezer, bass, Tommy Clufetos, drummer, Adam Wakeman, the keyboard, and their encore was Paranoid. So we're going to hear that to wrap things up. I don't know if that's what, hey, you know, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. By the way, Slick says, Bob LTS just wanted to let you know that the Dunmore Riverside game did not disappoint last night down at the arena. It was a great game. Well, Slick, you didn't tell me who won. And I go rushing to the newspaper after you reminded me about it. And here we are. Nothing. Nothing in the newspaper. Because it's not a newspaper, it's a rag. Our Scranton Times, our Citizens Voice, our Hazleton State Speakers, they're so awful. I can't find out. By the way, so many want to know what the average price you can get in at. You're going to have to talk to Tina Morocco. Go to Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. You'll find her. And find out. It's all price points. So he says, Bob, Biden banner, 2 blasts out of that shotgun. Make us laugh for the weekend. I know, the Biden banner update disgrace. And it is. Shame on you, Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. Shame on you. Hey, let's sneak in Bill from Pittston while Ozzy's wailing away. Bill, we got about a minute, my man.
Okay, you know, Bob, I argue that you can historically document that there have been mass demon possessions of a culture or a group, and 2 off the top of my mind: Nazi Germany with the slaughter of 6 million Jews, Stalin's slaughter of millions, and now we have the Democrat Party that has to be demon-possessed to hate this country that much that all they want to do is destroy it. And they zombie-ize their followers. So I'm saying the conservative Democrats, leave these demon-possessed morons
and
that
take
are not
take your party back.
Join our club.
Yep. I'm with you. Thank you, Bill. Bill, we got to fix your phone next time you call in. It's skipping out on us like it did the other day. But just
yeah, I know.
But always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend. Hey, Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma Cornett Merrick. Read it in the originally in the obituary to the great Doreen Gorieb. If I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow isn't promised to anyone young or old alike, and today may be the last chance to get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a call, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much, and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. We don't have time for the policeman's prayer, but remember the thin blue line keeping us from savagery. Don't forget your cops. Guys, I'm done. Sue Henry show next. Rob O'Donnell show after that. God willing, I'll be with you Monday. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Have a fun weekend. But for now, we must gavel to a close this meeting this week of the Club for Common Sense. Adios, gang.